right, how are you? Good morning. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Liz Uriah. Thank you, Stacy, for having me here today. But my name is Liz Uriah, and I am the bilingual coordinator for PEATC. How many of you have heard of PEATC before? Yeah? Have you called us in the past? Have you had an... Okay. Do you have a child with special needs? All right, so we are PEATC, the Parent Training Center of the state of Virginia. So today I'm going to talk to you about a little bit of what we do, and then maybe in the future we can do more presentations in regards of what everything else entails special education, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So who is PEATC? We are the statewide nonprofit, and our passion is to empower parents in the state of Virginia. Our main focus is special education, so we mainly work with parents of children with disabilities, but we do have different programs that help different families. So as you can see, we have the Latino Outreach, which I actually coordinate a lot. We have the military outreach, so if you guys know any families in the military, they can always call us. We have family engagement as well. We try to make sure that parents are involved in their children's education, that they get involved in different activities at school, because when parents are connected, the students can benefit a lot more. We also have early childhood, poverty reduction programs, bullying awareness is very important for us to make sure parents and professionals are aware of what bullying is. And court-involved youth. So we have all of these programs that help different families in the state of Virginia. All right. So what is it exactly that we do? So we do individual phone consultation. So you can give us a call at any time between Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. And if you have any questions, we'll be able to guide you in that process. We also provide workshops all throughout the state, just like this one. So this is considered a workshop. We have webinars. So if at some point you're not able to attend a workshop, we just like you guys, we will record them and we'll place them on our YouTube page, or we will give you a link to access for a live motion, for a live webinar, okay? So we also have fact sheets, which I have for you today, and I will place them on the table after the session is over, so you can take them with you and get more information. We also have a blog in which we provide information to other families with different kinds of information, and just several resources. So our main purpose is to really inform parents on everything that's going on around the state of Virginia, all right? So we are supported by the TA technical assistance, and we get funded by the U.S. Department of Education, as well as the Office of Special Education projects. So we are connected to that. As you can see, we have the logos here for the Virginia Department of Education, which is one of the ones that supports our organization, as well as taking action for special kids. Okay, so what it is that we provide, again, we provide parents with assistance on making sure that they're aware of how to support their children in their education and become better advocates for their children. So what it is that this actually includes is getting information in regards to post-secondary education and meaningful employment. So we prepare you so that you understand how you can better help your children to succeed, regardless of the disability that they have. Because we don't consider it a disability, we consider it a gift, right? So everyone's special. We all have special talents, and they just have special talents. So that they can learn how to create friendships and community participations, living in the community and becoming independent, all right? Again, we serve all kinds of families, families in the Latino community, families in the military, providing them with family engagement so that we make sure that they're connected to their children. We connect with grandparents, foster families, so we actually do connect with other foster organizations, which help us out in that sense as well. Other family members with guardianship, shared custody families, and non-English speaking communities as well. All right, collaboration. PT encourages an equal, respectful homeschool partnership and positive homeschool interaction. So we actually encourage a lot of advocacy. How many of you know what advocacy means? Anybody? Do you know what advocacy means? Yes. Yep, exactly. When you stand up for your rights, right? You're advocating for yourself, or you're advocating for someone else who's not able to do so. So in this case, when you have children with disabilities, some of them may not have the ability to speak. Some of them may not have the ability to speak up for themselves. So that's why we want to train you to become better advocates for your children, so that you understand your rights as a parent and that you understand the rights of your children, and what that entails. By using workshops, webinars, and communicating with the parents, whether through the phone system or whether through emails, we make sure that we try to help you choose better strategies that help you diffuse or escalate difficult situations. So we help you understand what communication is, because communication is very important, right? Ensuring your children is getting all the services that they need, all the support that they need, and making sure that they are getting free and appropriate education. Do you guys understand what free and appropriate education is? Yeah? So children have the right to receive free and appropriate education. So making sure that you're aware of the rights of your children is very important. Okay? Do you guys have any questions so far? Any of you have a child with a disability? So her question was, how do parents make sure that their children are receiving the right education? How do parents know that their rights are being followed, right? Because children go to school by themselves. Parents are not present when this is happening, if anything happens at school. So children with disabilities will usually have what's called an IEP. An IEP is an individual educational plan that needs to be followed, right? So parents, this is why it's so important for parents to be involved, because although they're not going to school with them, they need to be communicating with the school at all times, okay? And we suggest that you communicate with the schools, not necessarily through the phone, but maybe in writing. So that's very important too. But understanding what the rights are for children with disabilities, there is a guideline provided by the Virginia Department of Education that parents can follow and make sure that those children who have disabilities are getting the rights that they need based on their IEPs. So every IEP is completely different. Every individual educational plan is completely different for every child. None of them are the same. They're given the services based on their needs. So everyone is going to be different. Now, again, it's very important for parents to be in communication with the schools. If they see that maybe their child is coming back sad from school, if they see that there's something going on just because of their emotions when they come back from school, they should probably sit down and talk to them and say, is there something going on, right? If not, they need to communicate with the school and find out, did something happen today? Can you please provide me with a note? I mean, there are a lot of things that parents can request and just make sure that they're having communications with the school, right? Because just because they're not going to school with their children, does not mean that they cannot communicate with the school by themselves, okay? So her comment is that she's not sure whether these children are actually getting the education that they need. She says that they go from class to class, but that she doesn't see any improvement, right? Again, these are things that need to be evaluated within the IEP, the individual educational plan. So again, every child is given an individual educational plan. If you think that this is not working, if you don't see a change, if you don't see that this child is improving in their education, then that IP needs to be evaluated and see what needs to be added, right? Maybe more services. Maybe this child needs more assistance. Maybe this child needs other services that allows them to learn more and acquire more. So there are a lot of things that you can request, but again, you just need to make sure that you're communicating with the schools if you're not seeing any changes. Now, if they were in a special education classroom before and now they're being taken into a general classroom, that's not bad. That's a good thing. That means that they're including them with the rest. We want inclusion, okay? Inclusion just means that we want to make sure that a child with special education is also being included in a general curriculum. That's how we know that they're preparing them to learn more things, right? Children with special education need to learn about social skills. They need to learn about how to communicate with other people other than the special education classroom. If we only keep them in the special education classroom, we're not providing them with the skills that they need. We're not preparing them for an independent life after high school or after college, right? So we want to make sure we're preparing them for that. So again, if they're going from a special education classroom and including them into a general curriculum, that's always a good thing. Now, it may not be a good thing if we're not seeing any changes, right? So, but that's something that needs to be evaluated in the individual educational plan. So the parents need to sit down and say, look, I don't think my child can go to the bathroom by themselves just yet. So that needs to be addressed, and that needs to be a goal that needs to be evaluated, and see how they can better, how they can measure that goal so that it can actually improve. Yes. So again, that's something that the parents need to request. If they think that their child needs more assistance, like one-on-one assistance, right? So too many students and maybe just one teacher. Yeah. So that's something that needs to be addressed, right? Because otherwise, not every child is being attended for. Not every child is being assisted. So yes. Exactly. So again, it all depends on the IEP, okay? All right, so again, PEATC tries to make sure that we are providing families with lots of knowledge, not just on special education, but again, on different resources. I work a lot with the Latino community, and I often get questions not only about special education, but sometimes parents who need healthcare, parents who need immigration services, parents who need just English lessons. So we want to make sure that we are providing you with these resources. PEATC does not provide these resources themselves, but we can refer you to other organizations who will, because we want to make sure that parents are preparing themselves, they're educating themselves. So again, why? Why are we doing all this? We want to make sure that we're preparing you so that you can be a better advocate for your child. If you're well educated, if you're preparing yourself, then it's easier for you to go into that school meeting and advocate for your child, right? So again, we serve different families. Oh, I think I went back. Okay. Okay, involvement with your high school student. Okay, so we continue to develop different fact sheets that help you communicate with your child better. So when children go into high school, things change, right? Especially nowadays, there's so much technology going on. It's a different generation. So we want to provide you with different skills, with different tools that you can use so that you can have a better communication. So PEATC has a youth group, actually. We have a youth group program in which we teach them about what leadership is. We try to encourage we work with entire state. So it's very difficult for us to actually have a one-on-one meeting with these students. But we have virtual meetings, right? So we have, these kids are they're just tech savvy. So it's not hard for them to connect online and talk to each other. So we talk about different community services opportunities. We talk about different events that they can develop so that they can learn more about leadership, but also be involved in their communities. So usually by the end of the school year, usually by the end of the year, we'll do a toy drive. We'll do a food drive, because the holidays are coming as well. So we want to make sure that we get them involved. And what does this do for them? It motivates them. It empowers them. It gives them the tools that they need so they can go out into the community to just do a lot more and get involved, right? So we want to make sure we're preparing them as well. But again, we want to make sure that we are providing parents with all these skills and all these tools that are parent-friendly language so that they can better communicate with their children, okay? Social media, you guys can find us on Facebook. You guys can find us on YouTube. Again, we have different workshops in our YouTube page that you can find on all kinds of subjects, English and Spanish. We are working on gathering them in different languages as well. So if you guys have any suggestions as far as like what you would like to see, we're always trying to see what the community is looking for and add them to our pile of things. We are on Twitter. You can find us again on Facebook. We're just like all over the place. So you can find us. If you have any questions, give us a call. Different workshops that interact with families and professionals. These are some of the groups that are usually requesting the workshops. So the local educational agency, parent resource centers, so they will ask for special education workshops, SEAC, which is a special education advisory committee, different disability groups in the state of Virginia or Northern Virginia, POA, Canova, Parents of Autistic Children, et cetera, et cetera. Also the PTA, which is the Parent and Teacher Association, local conferences that we usually attend, and professional organizations. So I'm here today, but right after I'm going to be going to the Coolmore Partners meeting, which I'm also going to be doing a presentation for. And I'm not doing a presentation for parents, I'm doing a presentation for professionals so they can allow us to continue moving on and allow us to provide more information to others, right? So we partner with different community members, different community leaders, organizations, so that they can spread the word about who we are and how we can help. All our services are completely free, and we have different programs throughout the year that are paid for. So we will provide what is PACL, the the Parents as Collaborative Leaders training, which is a 1 to 2 day training. Sometimes it may be here in the area of Northern Virginia. Sometimes it may be somewhere else in the state of Virginia. But we will provide you with your hotel stay. We'll provide you with your food, and we'll reimburse you with mileage. So we provide you with all this stuff just so that you can come to these conferences, so that you can come to these trainings, because for us it's important that you educate yourselves and get this information so that you can support your children, okay? The Parents as Collaborative Leaders is PACL, P-A-C-L. Yes, so this training is mainly about leadership. We do discuss special education, but it's mainly about leadership. So we will talk about communication, how you can better communicate with the schools or at a professional setting, how you can better solve conflict. So we train you with other parents. Sometimes we have small groups, sometimes we have big groups. But you train together to learn more about leadership skills that will help you how to become a better advocate. We already had it this year, so we don't have any more trainings. We have it about 3 times a year. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't do it by request, not this training specifically. The dates will be given to us next month, so we will know what dates we'll have this event again next year. Yeah, and then we'll advertise it to the community, and you have some time to register. But we will have it in English or Spanish. We actually just had what's called the PYE. It's the Parent and Youth Empowerment Summit. That was this past weekend, and that took place in Williamsburg at the Great Wolf Lodge, the water park. So we provide you with a room at the water park. We provide you with 4 tickets to the water park, but you have to come to the conference, right? So we want to make sure that you're having fun, but we want to make sure that you are gathering all this information that is very important for you so that you can support your children. Did you have a question, ma'am? Absolutely. So we do have professionals that work with children with special education that can attend. If you have children from 0 to 22, you're also eligible to attend. How old are your children now? Yeah, you can certainly register. Again, it's open to everyone. Maybe not the parent youth, maybe not the parent youth empowerment summit, just because that one's specifically for I believe it's youth 12 to 22, and they have to come with their parents because it's a summit for both. They're learning at the same time. But the rest are open to parents and professionals who are working with the special education community. So it's open for everybody. Okay. Yeah, it has been advertised. We've had it for many years. Yeah, it's on Facebook. We just posted it. Yeah, all this year. We were actually still advertising it because we had quite a few rooms open, and it was a success. But it was on Facebook. So if you follow us on Facebook, you will find it. Okay. Yes. Not at all. So one of the questions was that if they need to be referred by someone else to get information from PEATC, absolutely not. You can just call us at any time. Just communicate with us directly, either through email, phone consultations. You can even send us a message on Facebook, and we'll answer your questions. Okay. So that's actually another training in which we talk about how we can better solve that problem. Okay, so we don't necessarily have an actual program, but we have trainings in which we invite professionals, community leaders, parents, so we can talk about how we can, improve this issue as a community. So, right, it's a community-based training. So, and that usually takes place in August. We just had it, so then the next one will be next fall. Okay. So we also have a bullying prevention program. We know that this is important. Many parents don't really talk about it. Children, sometimes they don't talk about it. But we know that this is important. It's happening. It's becoming very common in schools. It's becoming very common everywhere. So it's a bullying prevention program in which everyone is responsible for doing something about this, not just parents, but also professionals, right? So this one of the workshops is what parents can do. So you can request this workshop at any point. And then what schools can do also, right? So we have these two workshops that can be requested, and then we can train you on what bullying is, okay? And I think that's it. So we are PEATC, again, the Parent Educational Advocacy Training Center. We are in the entire state of Virginia, so not just this area, but we are working with the entire state. If you ever need another workshop, if you want to see what other workshops we are offering, then you can just go to our website, and we have a list of all the workshops that we have. Again, I'm going to leave some fact sheets here. I have some brochures that talk about what we are again. But I'll be happy to come back at another time and provide you with more information on anything that you're looking for. So if you have any questions, I'll be here. So her question was if they need to be from a specific county or from a specific area in order to receive these workshops. No, if you have a group of 10 people that are interested in a specific workshop, then we can either do it here, we can do it at someone's house. All I need is a computer, and I can bring my screen and I can do the presentation. Again, it's all for free, and you don't need to be from just the Fairfax area. Again, we work with the entire state of Virginia. So today I'm here, but next week I'm going to be in Virginia Beach. The day after, I'm going to be in Charlottesville. So again, we work through all the regions, all 8 regions of the state of Virginia, to make sure that we're taking our information to these parents and professionals, so we understand what special education is and how we can better serve the community, right? Right. Sometimes when we talk about disabilities, special education, we sometimes think of it as just a physical thing, right? Something that can be seen, but not quite. So there are many disabilities, and sometimes there are disabilities that you can't see them, like learning disabilities, right? ADHD, ADD, et cetera, et cetera. So we cover all the disabilities, okay? Because they also need an IEP, so we want to make sure that parents are understanding that they can get that information as well. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So her question was if children who have 504 plans can also be served by PEATC. Yes, absolutely. So we talk about 504 plans. We talk about IEPs, again, the individual education plan for students. So any questions about disabilities, we will be able to provide you with information. Okay. Sometimes we may not be able to answer your questions right away. We had to do some research some days, but we make sure that we refer you to the right person or guide you in the correct process. Okay, so an IEP is the individual educational plan that helps students with disabilities get the services that they need. A 504 plan is very similar, but let's say someone has, I want to make it simple so that you understand. Let's say that someone has, someone broke their ankle, right? And they need crutches. So then they could request a 504 plan that allows them to get services because now they have crutches and they have to go to school and they have to do certain things. So they request different services for a person who has like crutches, who may be just a temporary disability, right? And that's the simplest way to explain it. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyone else? Yes. I mean, unfortunately, we don't provide childcare. Of course, we want to make sure that you're gathering, that you're making the best of the workshop just so that you can fully focus and that you can gather the information. We understand that sometimes it's difficult when you bring your child with you. We will never say not to bring your child because, he's a part of you and he has to be with you and we want to know, and we know that you want to get the information, so that's fine. But I would suggest, if you could, that at some point you come by yourself so that you can get all the information and really gather everything that we're saying. But again, unfortunately, we don't provide childcare. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't provide those services, but we could refer them to places that will provide them with that information. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyone else? But thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all. So again, if you guys want any other workshops in the future, you can let Stacy know, and I'll be happy to come by and provide you with more information. I'll just be happy to help you. All right? Thank you so much. It's my pleasure.